The two buildings next to 770, 784, and 788, before they were bought by Lubavitch, by Merkaz, there were two apartment buildings where people lived. So downstairs you had the big shul, which was built in Tov Shechaf Aleph, and then you had the two buildings next to it. Then in the middle of the Chovs, or the end of the Chovs, Merkaz bought it, Lubavitch bought those two buildings with a plan to expand the shul and the offices, etc., etc. But people still lived there. And slowly the tenants moved out, till finally they all moved out. So I remember towards one of the times, right after they bought the building, not long after they bought the building, people still lived there. Some moved out already, some still live there. So downstairs in the basement, there was a fire, and the fire engines came. And this is basically Merkaz, belonged to Merkaz. The building was Merkaz building. So I remember I was standing outside, but then we walked into the 770, into the hallway there, and the Rebbe walked out. Now, I don't remember if the Rebbe walked out because he was on his way home, or he walked out because he heard the sirens, so he walked out. But he walked out into the hallway, and he saw some Bochum standing there, and he asked, "Where is Rabbi Chadikov?" And I remember the one that was actually talking to the Rebbe was Rabbi Sol Shmotkin. He was a Bocher then. So, and Rabbi Chadikov's office was, we all know, by the end of the hall. So the Rebbe himself started walking towards the Rabbi Chadikov's office, but Rabbi Chadikov had come out already, so he came over here to the hallway. We're in the front of 770, in front of the elevator. And the Rebbe starts telling him, I just remember a few words. The Rebbe spoke for a few moments, but I remember just a few words. The Rebbe said, like with a very starke tone, he said, that Rebbe is gebrochen nach fire, mit herausgerufen die Pajarnikes. I remember the Rebbe used the Lashon Pajarnikes. In Russian, Pajarnikes means the firefighters. And the Pajarnikes, what they do is, when they come in, they brechen the vent and they klappen. So the Rebbe was concerned not really so much about the fire, it seems, but he was concerned about what the firefighters do. They break the wall. And it's America's money, we got to see to do something about it. And he told this to Rabbi Chadikov, and I don't know what happened at the end. Akaponim, they went there. I don't know who exactly went, and then I don't know if the Rebbe went back into his room or the Rebbe went out. I'm sure that maybe some other people who were there would remember the conversation even more, but these are the words that I remember. Mit herausgerufen, Pajarnikes, und sie brechen die Wand. Then the Rebbe was like very concerned about it because it belonged to Merkaz, it belonged to Lubavitch. And then they took care of it, and I don't know exactly what happened at the end.